The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane. More flames, oh no, no more snowflakes.
We can all get along, but there's no stopping. Ay, everybody's wrong, that's a real problem. Ay, they don't want to hear it, but they still talking. Ay, soon enough, we running out of options. Ay, this ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin. Ay, we ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it. Ay, I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid.
Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane. More flames, oh no, no more snowflakes.
Welcome to HeartMind Expressions, Fab 4. This is Amária Sweet, and I am here today with Alex Spielman, Alex Bloom, and Sue McClure are not going to be with us tonight. They're doing some pretty cool stuff out with some friends and family. So, Alex, how have you been doing?
Just dandy.
Just dandy?
I've been dandy. They're on assignment, if I understand correctly, on the scene.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, very great.
Yeah, I like that.
It's great to see you again. It's always wonderful to be with you, and hopefully we'll have this wonderful spirited conversation as we do all week, every week.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much. Before we get started, I'm just going to do some plugs really quick, thinking about it. Of course, I like to thank our wonderful Katie Kamara with our radio station, or I guess, I don't know what we would call it, like, radio or TV or network, I guess, Soma Fusion Network. And we love to do shout outs to be able to help her out as well. She's a wonderful single mom, and Savvy Clothing for Women is something that kind of helps her out. Some awesome, really fun footwear of all ages and sizes. So check it out, savvi.com/Soma Fusion. So savvy.com/Soma Fusion. And then some sister groups. We've got, of course, iEvolveTV, C4OC Radio Network, and Rev Radio Las Vegas. So we've been talking about some stuff behind the scenes a little bit. Did you want to start with the court cases with Ms. Ghislaine going on?
Oh, Miss Ghislaine Maxwell with the Maxwell family, with such a checkered background, it would make a block of Swiss cheese blotch.
Just looking through the book, I mean, his book, I was just like, what? Oh man, wow.
I mean, have you ever heard the song "Secret Agent Man"?
Yes.
Well, Maxwell is very much the same, because I mean, she has credentials as a submarine pilot, on top of dealing with everything else. And so right now they're just looking at the charter for the airplane. Who's riding, who's not, who's on there.
And that's just the Lolita Express, isn't it? That's the one that
it's just the one plane that doesn't have to do with anything. Yeah. So, but here's the thing: there's a lot of people who weren't on the plane; they were on a submarine, and she has a submarine license. So that's kind of where I'm assuming the next step of a lot of this hip is going to go. Is Sue was riding in the submersible. So, but. Yeah, I mean, some of the names that we've been hearing it's just chilling.
That makes so much sense thinking about it, with the amount of tunnels that we have going through just underground that are water-based, not just the land-based ones with the high-speed trains, but the submarines. I know a lot of the super soldiers, we've talked about it on different programs, where depending on where you're going or who you're going with, just depends on what route. So that's interesting. I had no clue that she was a submarine pilot. Oh my God.
Well, it was kind of funny. The reason I actually found out was because she actually did a PSA. I think it was called a PSA, or it might have been more of a. It was like a seminar she was part of, and it
Wow.
had to do with uh, providing a healthy ocean environment for the sea life in the Caribbean,
Hmm.
which the Caribbeans was their main base of
Right.
operations, as their main island was Little St. James.
Oh my goodness. I was wondering.
So it was kind of a way to kind of say what they were doing without actually telling what they were doing. Kind of like that truth in plain sight. How they have to say things before they
Yeah,
actually do things. It's one of those things.
exactly.
So that's part of what's going on is the airplane. They haven't talked about the submarine. I don't think that's actually going to be brought up, at least not this
Really?
time around. If they actually bring it up, especially with the people who are associated with what's going on. I believe I always screw up her name. But the head prosecutor in this case is a Comey. I forgot her name though.
Oh,
And
okay.
this would be the daughter of the former disgraced FBI director James Comey. That would be his daughter.
That's really
She's the
cool.
head prosecutor, and she was also the person who was involved in the video mysteriously disappearing and turning off in a situation with Epstein, who obviously didn't kill himself.
Right.
But that was she was involved. She was involved with those tapes.
Wow.
So you can do with that as you wish, because there's I smell a rat.
Right.
The club likes to help itself out.
Now, all of her testimony is definitely going to be helping with the indictments.
Yes, that's all.
That's really cool.
We had quite a few people that were mentioned. I believe Richard Branson was mentioned as one of the people there. Linda the Rothschild was mentioned.
Yeah, I saw that name on the list. I was like,
I believe.
I was actually surprised about John Huntsman. He's a big Mormon in Salt Lake. They have a big Huntsman Center. I don't know if it's junior or senior, but I know they have a big cancer center. And I was like, oh my God, that really sunk my heart, And if you think about all the childhood cancer, I'm like, what the hell? Was there like trafficking and faked deaths? I mean, my mind can go wild just to.
No, I know. I completely understand. It makes sense, especially with everything that's going on.
Well, and then the actors going through performers, because there's a lot of them there. Just as a performer myself, just really is sad to see, because like so many talented people that you're just like, why sell yourself like this? I mean, it's not worth it. That's why in 2009, when Sony Records was talking to me about my music, I said, no, I'm staying indie. I know you guys do. The Illuma Donkey likes to send me emails quite frequently. Jeez.
And
No, I'm not.
I'm guessing they're not attractive.
What's that?
They're not exactly the most Ruffles and the Jimmies type of feeling to them.
Yeah, right. No, it's not
They just
something
have more of a they have a slight edge to them when you read them, from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, and they try to make it sound all fluffed and, we're watching over you and we're protecting you. I'm like, no, you're not, dude. I know what you guys do. I know what kind of rituals you guys do. And, that's what we're learning about. A lot of people for the first time, and others have known for quite some time. But wow.
So there's just a so after 10 days, the prosecution is finally rested.
Oh, really?
And so everything's currently in deliberations with the jury. But I believe there's currently a break in the case because one of the lawyers, I believe it's on the prosecutor's side, got ill, very ill.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure what's going on with that part.
I hope somebody doesn't, turn up dead because that seems to happen quite frequently in those things, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Uh-huh.
So
I hope
we will,
this
we
can
won't
finally
know
go.
until it happens, I guess.
Yeah, I've just really been praying that this crap can just be done so that all of our lovely fake health emergencies stop because they're not emergencies. People just don't know, how viruses work and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna be off that for a sec. All right, so was there anything else with the case that you wanted to talk about, or did you want to go into, hashtag save
Nothing.
Jesse?
Well, when it comes to Maxwell, there's not really much I want to go into just because of how grisly some of the stuff is.
Right? Yeah, it's so dark.
If anybody would be interested in going in researching extra about it, there is a YouTube channel that has been doing great work. It's called Good Logic. Good GOOD. Logic is LAWGIC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's Logic LAWGIC, and it's a attorney who practices in New York, and what he's been doing is been going to the courtroom personally, and has been giving updates about the case as it's been going on.
That's cool.
So you don't have to worry about a brief or any paperwork. He is there taking notes and reporting every night. And he's been doing it for a while now, so you can actually read up on it. And he's been doing like 3-4 hour live streams just to go over everything that's going on.
That's amazing.
This is why we need cameras and live streaming for federal court cases, because you can only do it for state, but not federal.
I wonder why that is.
I think it's federal law. It's a federal law. A federal law which I think should be completely repealed. And I think the opposite should happen. We should have a complete 180 where it shouldn't be against the law. I think it should be mandatory that all court cases should have some form of videographic or live streaming capability. So, in a trial of your peers, the peers can at least watch it.
Well, and especially when any kind of trafficking is in question, or any kind of pedophilia is in question, or any kind of murder is in question, that needs to be publicized. That people need to know what's going on, especially with how many people have been affected in this. It's
definitely, and I think it's gotten this almost grandeur to it nowadays. It's like, oh, this trafficker. People have this imagination of the evil person twisting their mustache and having people in bondage, and it's actually a much more vile and despicable act than most people would give it credit, because to give it proper credit is to really understand the true nature of it, and it's just harrowing.
It's so sinister and disgusting. I mean,
it's just
all of the secret programs. I mean, I really hope that this brings in disclosure, because there's so much stuff that's tying together. I mean, technology, nutrition, medicine. Codex Alimentarius is something that I've been talking about since 2007 publicly, and I've had several death threats over that in the past. And that's basically what we're dealing with right now, where things that are good for you are being taught as being bad, and things that are bad for you are being taught as being good. And that's part of Agenda 21. That's part of ushering in, the new world order, and getting to where people can't own their own properties, and they can't have their own, basically, lives. You can't take care of your life. I mean, they're wanting to basically patent our bodies through genetic modification. That's pretty sick. I mean, just the stuff that I've seen. Wow.
One little thing. Since I botched the name, the prosecutor's name, Maureen Comey. That's her name.
Oh, Maureen. Okay.
Maureen Comey. That's
for those that want to take a look at it.
Yeah, it's Maureen. But yes, I completely agree with the idea that how we treat things opposite. I normally jump to like 1984 where they say war is peace, and forgot the part of it. But this idea of war is peace, good is bad, bad is good, hot's cold type of thing.
Exactly. Polarities.
And that's kind of funny because now the way we're understanding things now, and the way disclosure and awakening has kind of reared itself, we're realizing that everything we thought we knew was wrong.
Right.
And it's this massive relearning of how everything goes, and we're like, you know what? Those ancients, those people who came before, they weren't idiots. They knew what they were talking about. And it's like, why in the world are these cultures, that could be, continents away, are saying the exact same thing, even though they've probably never had contact with each other, allegedly. And they're saying virtually the same thing. It's just mind-boggling. But that's okay. We got a pill for your ails and a liquid courage for your soul.
Right. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's really it for the Maxwell case. We could talk about justice for Juicy now. If you want.
Justice for Juicy. I love that. I love it.
If you guys are familiar with that, that's a Dave Chappelle. If you look, just type it up on YouTube, Justice for Juicy, and you'll understand. You'll get a good laugh out of it. He goes into the whole story of Jussie Smollett, who supposedly went to a Subway for a tuna sandwich in the middle of a polar vortex in Chicago at 2 a.m. where two white people in MAGA hats, who actually were Nigerians, who used slurs and noosed him and poured bleach on his face.
Yeah.
But none of it actually happened.
Yeah, I heard about that part. I wasn't exactly sure what happened. I've been so busy that
it's nothing. It is certifiably legally. We can say it because it has been through a court of law. It did not happen as a complete hoax.
Wow. That'd be nice if they could take a few hoaxes and take them out. Like right now, I got a few on mind.
Well, justice for Juicy. Well, guess what? Justice did happen for Juicy. we got the perpetrator of the hoax, and it may not be massive penalty things that he was convicted of, but it's enough to keep him occupied for a while. He won't be doing that again.
Anytime soon.
And no. I honestly believe there should have been more. I believe that he should have been charged with more, especially when you deliver something through U.S. mail.
Yeah, true.
That's a federal crime if you don't report what you're putting in the mail. I mean, and this is just coming from a guy who's grown up with my father being a letter carrier, my grandmother, my grandfather being members of the post office. So this is the stuff I've always been taught.
Your family went postal.
Quite literally.
Shoot.
I was just not the one to carry on that legacy. Anyways,
all good. You've got bigger and better things, bro. So the thing that I'm the most excited for that you were talking about earlier was Julian Assange. I have been praying for him for his release. And so what is it that you've learned? And do you want to just kind of give a little bit of insight on where you're getting your information?
Let me give a little background.
Yeah.
Let me give people, people who would been paying attention to this for a little bit. So several years ago, Julian Assange was arrested and charged with I think it was some type of sexual or deviancy or art assault or something like that. And I believe it was Sweden and in the United Kingdom. Eventually, both of them broke their. They both dropped their cases, and the United States was currently trying to get Assange on espionage with the information they have through WikiLeaks. Well, and so the United States has been petitioning to the British courts to have him extradited over to be tried in American courts. And there was just this stalemate between him because he was technically not in the UK. He had been in the Ecuadorian embassy for many, many, many years until the Ecuadorian president ended his term and we had a new person in place. And so that president didn't honor the same asylum. And so he's been on his own for a while. Well, we have been wondering if what would ever happen with that trial, because with the United States constantly appealing for the extradition, that process takes a while to do. Well, that decision just happened today at 10 o'clock local time in, I believe, London. And the court had decided to allow the extradition of Julian Assange into the United States to face trial for espionage. Now, I know a lot of people who were very, very upset that that was happened or even potentially happened. I, on the other hand, think that is amazing news.
Right.
Now I have we have to play this almost like a 4D chess move, first of all, right? The defense, I think that he's going to make, now I'm not a lawyer, I have no legal training whatsoever, but anybody who's ever followed WikiLeaks knows that WikiLeaks likes to talk to themselves as journalists. And so what they could do is potentially say that their work is being protected under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. So this could be a constitutional fight. I'm not sure how that works for non-citizens. So I'm not too I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but I would assume that that's what they're going to do.
I was thinking he was American. So where is he from then exactly?
Okay, so he was born in Australia.
Oh, okay.
He was born, and I believe he was born in Australia, but he has Ecuadorian citizenship due to his time as a asylee.
Okay.
So, but he's not American. He's not British.
He'll probably be taken care of a little bit better here, maybe, I hope.
Well, I hear that we treat our exilees or our we deal with extradition in a very different way than other parts of the world.
Oh.
So, my thought, I mean, I actually in the mindset of like, oops, we dropped the case. He's in the United States now. You can't get him anymore. Nanner. That's what I thought that they could do.
Right,
they're like,
right.
They're like, oh, we want to get him back. No, you let him back in the American soil. You can't touch him now. And we could protect him.
Jeez.
Allegedly. Because what is the one thing that Julian Assange has that is connected to everything else that's been happening over here?
Good question. I would
Spygate.
like to know that. Oh.
It's because he is connected, allegedly, to Durham by Seth Rich.
Wow.
Now, if you guys remember, Seth Rich was a former Democratic Party member, and he was working on the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016, where he was mysteriously murdered in DC. And what was called a box murder, where they didn't take the wallet in his pocket or any valuables in his house.
Wow.
And eventually was found out that it was a hit by MS-13, and those MS-13 members mysteriously died several days later, horrifically, I mentioned. Um, and the reason, what a lot of these is because of what they learned about the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And who was Durham going after? Loyalists of the Clinton administration and campaign. So what's to say that this may not be connected to one another? I have a strong suspicion that there may be some ulterior motive to having him extradited into the United States for different reasons. Basically, it could be we know you did horrible things, slap you on the wrist, do the whole song and dance, and say, okay, work with us.
Right.
Because I don't believe a lot of stuff that's happening right now, in the halls of Congress or elsewhere, or as what we believe was actually happening there. I believe there's other things happening within the background that, the world's a stage, if you will. There are certain things that shouldn't be happening that are happening, and other things that should not be happening that are happening. So it's just a long suspicion I've had for about a year or so.
It makes a lot of sense when you connect all those dots. I mean, even all of that even ties into Maxwell case. I mean, every single bit of it.
Exactly.
I mean, just the cover-ups that they've been doing. So some of I don't know if people or everybody knows. I know that there's a lot of people that have been basically in the community, or I don't know what you would call it, the disclosure community, that would know, but people kind of waking up into the community that the trafficking isn't just children. It isn't just sex trafficking. It isn't just drugs. We've got secret space programs. We have alien technology that's being trafficked. Humans being trafficked in a way that the technology is being used on them, and they're having their memories erased and memories implanted, and they're being targeted and harassed at different levels. And I work with a lot of these people that come to me with these traumas, and it blows my mind. I mean, some of the shit that I've been through, but then hearing some of their stories, I'm just like, mine's a cakewalk. Jeez. I was pretty lucky. I mean, damn.
But this guy, I think personally, this is all going to work to destroy this monolithic, corrupt temple that they've created over the generations. And I think this is going to be very interesting once this is all played out. And if that's not all, we have some more interesting stuff that's happened on top of all that, which is that the Pope is not doing very well.
Really?
And Vatican doctors are saying that he may not survive past 22.
Interesting.
2022. He may pass sometime in the year 2022. Wouldn't that be interesting? Because the Vatican has a history of being connected to this stuff as much as anything else. In fact, they've been actually, some people would even argue that they are more of a contributor to these things than some of these other things, other people I'm mentioning.
Well, with the miles and miles of tunnels that they have under there, and the artifacts that they have under the Vatican is just insane. And
the Vatican archives, the missionaries that are all over the world. Right. I mean, it's
it would be basically the perfect crime.
It would be
hide in your church.
It would be. And I'm not going to go into the story, but there's a very horrible story I hear about nunneries.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that one. That one's
it's a lot of satanic ritual abuse, but yeah, the nuns are definitely.
There's not.
It's really sad.
Not pretty.
We could talk about it. Sad. Maybe we could go on deciphering.tv and talk about it where we're uncensored sometime. Because it is something that I think is educational wise. It needs to be said, and people need to learn about it. But yeah, on these censored sites, it's really hard whenever people are
Yeah,
not
exactly.
allowing the truth to come
Plus,
out. No matter how gory it is, yes, we do need to be talking about these things. That elephant in the room has gotten big enough. It's time to cut it up.
It's a 600-pound gorilla and a towel.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like, why do I have the gorilla on my chest? And you're like, and I don't think Gorilla Glue is going to help you with this. Or Gorilla Tape, anyway. It's like, hey, Jumbo, get off of me, please. And you're crushing me. But yeah, I think it's all about this airing of these grievances that we have. Unless you really let things heal properly, you're not going to have a proper transition into a totally new way of living and understanding. Unless we air these things out. Not everybody has to know everything about everyone. It's just these things need to be aired out some way.
And we could do it tactfully. There's definitely a way we could do it.
There's ways to do it that is tactically sound, tasteful,
and gives respect to the victims, and
yeah, exactly,
because it's very traumatic, very evil, very dark.
And I mean, when it moving on to other things that we got to tiptoe around, I wanted to quickly explain the congressional thing that just happened, the congressional
with
thing
the
that happens. I'm going to explain this real quickly. It's in order for two people to understand. So when it comes to dealing with laws, and I'm going to go political on this, I apologize, but best way to explain it. The best way to explain this is, in order to build the law, to make a law, obviously, is you need a bill, has to go through committee, has to be approved by said committee. Now, depending on what bill it is, depending on what committee it goes to, then it goes to the House or the Senate, depending on which one wants to introduce it, and then it has to be approved, and then go to the other house, then approved, and then the president has to sign off on it. If he doesn't sign off on it, he can veto it. That veto goes to back to the lower house, back to the House and the Senate. They have to approve it in a 2/3 majority that overrides the veto, becomes law. Now, what happened with the mandates? Mandates are interesting because they are not laws. They're just the executive saying, we want these things to happen because I say so. I'm pounding my fist on the desk.
Yeah.
So in order to repeal a mandate, Congress has to do the same thing as repeal a law, which is they got to first have a measure. And the measure says, for example, we don't want X mandate because it is not illegally sound in some shape or form. Then they vote on it, like a bill. And if enough people vote for that to be removed, it's repealed. And then it has to go to the desk of the president. That's the funny part, because it's the executive doing it. Most likely what's going to happen is that there has to be a veto, and you have to turn over that veto. I don't know how well that's going to turn out. We'll see. But today, or actually it wasn't today, I think it was yesterday, the Senate had a majority vote saying that they want to repeal the president's mandate when it came to private businesses and medical procedures.
Right.
I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not even going to code it, because we all know what we're talking about. We've been doing this for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm saying 2 years, but we've been doing this for 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we need to go any further. Just settle cunts and cues at this point does enough. We don't even need to worry about algorithms at this point. Where we're going, we won't have to worry about those things.
Right.
And then we're here for 2 years. Anyways, but that's what happened with the Senate. They basically said, you guys, you are crazy. No. Now we got to let the House do their job. as wonderful of a job they do. There's a reason why Congress approval is abysmal.
Right.
Because what was it? If you have there was a lawyer expression, which is, I think it's if you have the facts, pound the facts. If you have the truth, pound the truth. If you don't have either of those, pound the table.
Right.
Something like that. But that's what basically going to happen. It's just like, oh, we don't want this, and you're just going to bang on the table the entire time. And they haven't been voting. That's the funny thing. If with the last 3 weeks, the Senate has only voted twice. They've been in session for a few days, and they've only voted on one measure the entire time.
Are they playing video games all day?
Um,
Sheesh.
maid service. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. There's a lot of people that
these
have
people
felt
are
forced.
These people are paid 6-figure salaries, 5-figure salaries, and they can't get a simple job done.
Right.
There's a reason why a lot of these people are not going to be in this job come 2023. And I'm not talking about just the people who are not coming back because they are leaving. There is a record amount of people who are just leaving on both sides of the aisle. So we're going to have a very different Congress come January of 2023. Maybe even sooner. I'm hanging.
I really hope it's sooner, because just the things that we've been wanting to happen,
I think it's going to be sooner, because I don't think people are going to stand for another whole year of this.
No. Well, and I mean, just these cases coming out, if they can get enough information to put all these people away, I mean, we could very well easily go into Gasara. I mean, that would be amazing. And I really hope that we do. That would be so amazing.
Be nice. I don't know that we see. My issue with a lot of the Gasara people out there is that they keep on saying next week.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, how about, what's the good idea of doing this next week if you can't even deal with your own inner workings of your government?
Right. That has to be taken care of first.
I think we have to. You don't throw the dirty laundry in the dryer before you clean it first.
Right. It's gonna be a stinky mess. Get the crap off of there first.
And you gotta clean the freaking thing first. But the good news is that we're seeing the fraud, all over the place. Financial, religious, economic, political. It is everywhere, and it is there for you to see wherever you want to look. And that's the nice thing about this year, is that it's been open season. You can literally look anywhere, and it's there.
Yeah.
That's part of that awakening, that in that disclosure. That disclosure is not always going to be beautiful, squeaky clean, and sunshine and rainbows.
I think most of disclosure is dark, but it needs to be shown. People need to see what's been happening. They need to see the lies. They need to understand what's been going on. MK Ultra and Monarch programming are serious, very serious. Just with what you can do to the mind through vibrations, through the V2K, or for those that aren't familiar with it, the voice to skull technology. Just any of those things, like brainwave. You can change somebody's thoughts by a brainwave, and actually they can hear voices. And people haven't been schizophrenic that have been labeled schizophrenic in a lot of these areas. They've been basically fucked with by the CIA and the FBI, and God, who knows who else. And so those kind of people, that's who we're talking about, bringing to justice, bringing to light, turning it around, getting our government to work for us, because they fucking work for us. We need to fire these assholes and hire people that are going to do their damn jobs.
And there are ways to do it. You don't have to always wait in November. There are ways to get people out. If you really wanted to squeeze somebody, and I mean really squeeze them, you can. It is very easy to do so, except here's the funny thing: we've all forgotten that we can.
Right.
We have the ability to do so, and there are many ways to do it. The easiest, I think, possibly the most simple way, is to get involved locally.
Right.
That is the most simplest way anybody can get involved. Go to your local meetings. Your county, your town and city council meetings. Go to your planning boards, your zoning boards, your board of ed meetings. Join if you are a politically active individual in general. Be part of one of your town committees. I'm personally a Republican county committeeman, and they have different names depending on where you are, but they affect the ballots that people vote on. So if you really don't like somebody and you don't think they're doing a good job, what's better than making sure that they don't feel like they're going to be guaranteed that term again?
Right.
They're going to really be trying to get people to like them again. There are ways. That's just a few suggestions. I didn't mean to go into a whole tirade.
No, you're good. I love your insight, Alex. I mean, it's been a little bit shorter of a show, but I think we've covered some really good points. Is there anything else that you want to talk about really quick? Or, I mean, it could be a good place to kind of wrap up and,
Make sure. The only thing I can say is make sure you clean within your ears and make sure you do your laundry. No.
Right.
No. We're good. I think
Awesome.
I think I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's.
Right. Well, I know that Eric Hecker on Deciphering.tv does want to have you and I back again. So just letting the audience know, we'll be doing some broadcasting there. We just got to figure out and schedule it. I just got a new job finally, yay, one that doesn't have medical fascism. So I didn't have to be forced to do certain things, thank God. I'm sure I still have to wear a face diaper for a little while because of all the, things going on that are ridiculous. Anyway, we know, right? But grateful. So I'll be working a lot of nights. So we'll have to do some squirrely stuff, but we'll get it figured out because we're an awesome team.
We will survive.
But which is what I really do like on his program, and just kind of the shout out for him. Anybody that has not been to Deciphering.tv, he's got a lot of awesome archives on there. He does talk a lot about DARPA, HARP, Alaska, because he did work in Alaska as a plumber. There's also different things, different super soldiers that has been on there. Anybody that's unfamiliar with the secret space programs or military abduction programs that have been going on, actually generational since about between World War I, World War II. There's a lot of things that go into testimonials and whistleblowers there. A lot of us that have been talking about these different agendas, whistleblowing on ingredients and certain things that people have been forced to do or take, that there are now detox programs that you can actually detox from a lot of this stuff. And so, and I'm going to spell it out because I know he's blocked on Facebook and YouTube. So STEW, like you're cooking a stew. And then, St. Peter, his last name, PETERS. So his show, you can, I would say, go on something that's not Google or not mainstream, like maybe DuckDuckGo or another platform. And, he's actually been interviewing people. There's a doctor from Africa that's talking about treatments that they've been doing there, in Austria as well as in India. They've figured out how to reverse certain things, and the extensive research that they've been doing on things that have been forced on people recently. We know what that is, wink, wink. But yeah, go to his page. It's a totally separate network, kind of similar to Deciphering.tv. So people can actually get some pretty deep truths. And a lot of the stuff that's been passed to me has been passed from different physicians. I get it from, I've talked with different oncologists as well. You know what? We've got so much information out there that the research is there and it's being covered up. It's being lied about. The propaganda out there is absolutely insane. But we do have the truth out there, and there are some good places to go. So just kind of heads up, shout outs there.
You want
And go ahead.
Sorry, if you're looking for him,
Mhm.
you can type in that number, type in that name on Rumble. He has a
Oh,
channel on
Rumble.
Rumble.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
on
does
Rumble.
he? Ooh, I'm
Yes,
gonna check out Rumble
he
then.
just interviewed RFK Jr. about Dr. Fauci and his book that just came out, which is now a New York Times bestseller.
So that must have been like the last day or two, because I just listened to the one about the doctor from Africa that was working on.
Yes, he just uploaded this 2 hours ago.
Nice.
So he's there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that insight, that information. And for those that want to look it up, there you go. Thanks, Alex, again for being on the show. It's been good to talk with you. We missed, of course, Dr. Bloom and Sue McClure. But as always, everybody that's been listening, thank you so much. We love you guys. Peace out. We'll see you again next time.
Peace out, Cub Scout.